Hello and welcome to the Vivifier. My name is Krista Garcia, and today I have the honor of having Stacy, simply Stacy Wilson, who is a passionate poet, author, motivational speaker, and visionary who first developed a love for using her words at the tender age of 13. Over the years, life experiences composed of trials, swift transitions, and triumphs have provided a platform for Stacy's artistic perspective. Stacy has simple goals to empower and inspire others to be bold in sharing their truths no matter what. So, Stacy, thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to have you on the show. Thank you so much. So, tell us a little bit about you.
Um, well, I love all things art, but my passion is in poetry and writing because it started out as a therapeutic journey for me, and it just turned out to be something. It's therapeutic, but it also sort of cultivates that creative energy that you have inside of you. So I am heavily into that. I'm a little bit of a professional nerd. I work in the in the IT sector, and I love it. I love the work that I do. And I am a mentor as well. I have a mentoring community of young women, and I thoroughly enjoy that. That's probably my favorite thing to do, as far as community impact. So yeah, and I'm a mom. I'm a married mother of three. They're
That's
almost
amazing.
adults, so I forget to be like, oh yeah, I have children because they're not children anymore.
I can get that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. You're so extraordinary. So, you empower and edify and build up the Black man. And you are an author. Can you tell us a bit about your book?
Yes. Dear Black Man, You Matter is the title of the works. It started from a conversation. I was having a conversation with a friend, and she was looking for, resources to empower and edify some Black men that she knew. And we were searching everywhere. We looked all over the social media platforms, Google, we were calling around, and there were a few little sprinkles of things here and there, but there was nothing that spoke. You know how there are so many resources for women. There are empowerment groups, and you can go on Pinterest and find a million memes to just help a
Yes.
woman get out of bed some mornings. But there wasn't a lot, not just for Black men. There wasn't a lot for men in general. But I really was looking for something specific to the Black man, and I was led to begin this body of work. And I thought it was just going to be something small. My poetry books average, 60 pages in length. And so I was like, okay, it's going to be a little small something they can throw in their pocket. And it ultimately ended up being 195 pages, 141 page poems. And it's to really just encourage the Black man. There's so many resources that tell them how to be for someone, who to be, what you're not enough of. And I wanted something that just said, you know what? But as you wake up today, you're enough as you grow into who you are. So yeah, and so I published that on June 20th, and it's been making great traction, and we've been able to support men in the community from the revenue that is generated from the sale of the book, and that makes me really happy because that's my goal. It's been like, yeah, I want them to read it, feel good. I want them to share it, but I also want them to know that not only do they matter, but they matter enough for us to dig into our own resources to help them just with the basic things.
That is amazing, Stacy. And I ordered my copy. I'm so excited. And I'm going to put the link below so you guys can order your copy as well, because this is definitely something you want to support. That is so beautiful. And like you said, there aren't very many resources when it comes to supporting Black men. And as you said, men in general, like just loving themselves and being seen and being loved simply for being, simply for just waking up in the morning. Like you said, we do that frequently with women, but we don't do that with men, and we do not do that with Black men very frequently at all. Like you said, it's just tiny little bits here and there. So that is so amazing. And I love have you been getting feedback from the book? Like how are people responding to the book?
So I'm trying to, I'm a reviewer, right? If I read something, if I eat something, if I wear something, I'm going to tell somebody about it. I'm going to spread the word. And so it has been a little bit of pulling teeth trying to just get people to publicly express themselves, but I have been getting really great feedback. Honestly, I did not expect much from the men because it taps into a vulnerability that they might not be ready to publicly express. But I have gotten feedback. One gentleman in particular, he reached out to me via email and he said, I don't really like poetry like that. He was like, but this book, he was like, my wife gave it to me as a gift. And he was like, and I was drawn to it. And now I find myself every morning, after I do whatever devotional I'm gonna do, I flip through it just to find something to kind of boost me for the day. And I appreciate that. So I had to maintain my cool and not be like, oh my God. I was like,
Oh,
sure, yeah. So, yeah. I've
oh,
been getting really good feedback from that.
that's great. That is so beautiful. And it's so needed. Like you said, it's just so very needed. And I love that you did it with poetry. Now, you said a little bit about it, and you said how you use art and everything. And there's so many modalities, artistic modalities. Why poetry?
So poetry, I'm first of all, I'm short-winded in the area of artistic expression.
Okay.
So, but I love potency. And so that comes from, that professional background I have. Quick, efficient, and effective, right? So poetry, and poetry is such a beautiful form of artistry where you don't have to necessarily be formal, but your words can land in a way where it'll make sense. It'll touch the deep, it'll touch the surface. And so I wanted something where they could just read it really quickly, you know, and really hear something in it for them, whether it be a line, might not be an entire stanza, they might only get halfway through the poem. And so I thought, what a quick way, almost like a quick sip if you're a little thirsty, a quick sip of water, right? And it was like that, like, that little sip was refreshing. And so that's kind of the thought process that I had with the poetry. I love how poetry just speaks to you really quickly, really fast. I know there are poets who can really just expound, right, and go really deep into things. But I wanted something, outside of a novel or even a self-help sort of thing. I wanted something that they could just read really quick and say, ah. And even in the interior of the book, I was able to honor 14 men that I know personally that impacted my life I either have really close, intimate, personal relationships with them, or I've collaborated with them on some level artistically. And so I wanted to also, along with the poetry, put faces to the Black men that might pick up this book and read it, right? They'll see somebody in there to say, hey, he looks like, that looks like me, a representation of sorts. So yeah.
That is amazing. And you said that this was in honor of men in your life. Have they read it? And if so, what were their thoughts on it?
So I did ship everybody a copy that contributed a photo and a quote. So far I've gotten really great feedback. My husband, who does not, he's very adamant. I don't read. I don't like reading. Reading is not my thing. But he picks it up and he reads it. He's like, these are really good. Like these really speak to me. And I've even had a couple of them mention different poems that they feel like, even though the sections appear to be for them, they're not. It's like, go through the book and find what fits you. I really base it on what I was led to put for each section. But I have gotten a lot of positive feedback from them as far as just the appreciation for even putting something out there like that for them. I think that more than anything, more than the content that they have read so far, they've been very appreciative of that. That's
Uh,
coming from a genuine place. It has no motive like, okay, I'm gonna
mhm.
put this out for you. So now you gotta praise me as a black author.
Right.
Nope. I put this out for you, period.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And you just said something that I think is really, really vital. That it's, when sharing love and celebration of men, because, we have something similar to that, because, I have the conversation of loving and celebrating men. So when sharing that, it's not about self-accreditation. It's not about yeah, it's not about us. And so to be able to really pour that love and just selflessly just share, like, this is what I want to share. This is what you deserve to share. And as a woman, I've experienced that from men. I've had men, there's so many that just pour on women, like, oh, you're so amazing, all the stuff. And so, and of course, there's the opposite of that, but there are many who really do just pour on women simply for being women. So to be able to reciprocate that and to be able to pour into men and pour so much love in in return, or just because, not even in return, but simply because, is like you said, it's not about being praised for it. It's not about getting recognition for it. It's about the action, or just the being, that loving
Mhm.
being. So I really appreciate how you said that, because I think there is, there really is the conversations of sharing love onto men. And then there are conversations that pretend to do that, but really have a mode of manipulation
Mhm.
underneath that, to, like you said, now praise me. Okay, I did something for you. Here's one thing I did for you. Now give me your soul, like
Right. Pretty much.
yeah, I was like, okay, that's not loving men. That's the same thing that's going on. That's manipulating men. That's not love. And that's why I think, like, loving men conversations, like really pure loving men conversations, are so important, because I don't think we have a very strong foundation of that as a society. And it's really important that people start to expand and learn what that looks like. So I am so excited when I saw that you wrote this book, and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And then when you added that not only did you write this book, that a percentage goes towards actually supporting these men who need support, who might need like some financial support or whatever it is that need to get their needs met. So that's
Mhm.
just so absolutely beautiful. And when you started to write this book, because you said you were called to it, like what were your first thoughts?
So my default, whenever I get a prompt from God to do anything, my default is no. Nope. You called the wrong one. No, I'm not doing that. And that's just the truth.
Right.
People think I've had people say, "Oh my gosh, you're just so obedient. You just do." No, you don't understand. There is something that happens. It is not as seamless as you think. And so, initially, when we get an idea or something is given to us to pursue, we immediately put either something we've previously done, the experience of that, on it to
Right.
begin the process. So it almost stagnates your ability to do that, to be open to that new thing, right?
Right.
When I started that process, after I got over my no, right?
Right.
I gotta make sure that that is clear. That was like my absolute. It was no a couple of times. Like no, no, I don't even know who you talking to. Not me. And so when I finally settled in and said, okay, I'm gonna do it, I had the idea in my mind because my other poetry books, they average 50, 60 pages max, maybe. And I was like, okay, a little small book. But as I began to write, like I had ideas. And that's what I love about, when I'm called to do a thing, God kind of calls me out to do something. He'll let us, it's just like your children, right?
Mhm.
If you tell your child to do something and you don't really give them instructions at first, you kind of let them feel it out, or you give them instructions, you give them very simple instructions, and you let them feel it out. They think they know already. I already know. And then you let them fall down a little bit, and then you come back and say, now do this, like this. And that's kind of how it went. He was like, he let me map it out in my mind to see that it was too small. And he meant for it to be something big, and he meant for it to be something expanded, and he meant for it to be something that reached outside of what I was comfortable with. And what I was comfortable with was putting something together quick, something that I could push out in a couple of months. And he was like, "No, you're gonna dig for this one. This one, you're gonna get your hand in the dirt. You're not just gonna stand there with the shovel. You're gonna put your hands in the dirt." And so it wasn't a like I'm used to very structured, sit down at this time, all quiet, got my cup of water, got my whatever, my music going, my lo-fi music, I'm in it. It was not like that. It was like, get ready for bed, wash your face, you're ready for bed. I mean, wrapped up, bonneted up, sleep mask on my forehead. Now go right. What? It's 12:32 a.m. Go right. And so that's what I would do. And then I would have titles that I would want to use, and he would just let me roll with it, and then he would change it. Like I'd be in the middle of writing, and I would get this inclination to just change that. and it's turned out beautiful. So for me, I was just like, you know what? I don't care how many times you pivot me. I don't care how many times you redirect me. If the outcome is always going to surpass anything that I have in my mind, do with me what you will.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of
That's
how.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, what a powerful story. What a powerful experience. And that's just so amazing that you were called and you answered the call. So that is incredible. So everybody, I'm going to put the links down below so you can reach out to Stacy. She has an amazing website. She has the book, but she has so many other things as well. You have a vinyl record of poetry. You have a couple of them. Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that? You got to check out her website. The link will be in the low bar.
That was fun, actually. And it also started kind of similar to the way that God deals with me. Um, it started with an idea. Starts from a conversation, and the conversation, populates into an idea. And so I started learning about the remnant, right? I started really understanding what that meant on the different scales. A lot of people associate it with maybe something religion related, but
Mhm.
it's so much bigger than that. Like
Mhm.
even all the way down to the very basics of just your general relationship. You have a remnant of friends. You may have a lot of people around you, but you have a very small, tight knit circle of real life family friends. And so that remnant, the principle of the remnant for me was like, it's like small villages of people all over the world. They don't know. They know that their tribes exist. Like they know. I know there are people in this world that connect with me, that relate to me, that understand me. I haven't met them yet, but I know they're there. So when you come in contact with them, you're like, that's my vibe. That's my tribe. How you doing? You know. And so the remnant kind of stemmed from that. And then there was this, like, it was so strategic how God did it. He started really speaking to me about colors and helping me to understand what the different colors meant, right? So I learned that blue is my favorite color. Blue has always been my
That's
favorite
my
color.
favorite color too.
Oh, we are friends. So it is my absolute favorite color, has been from a child, has never changed. Well, God gave me the meaning of it on a few different scales. Peace, peace, grace, um, peace, grace, power, and calmness. And I was like, oh. And so when I was getting ready to work on this project, he said, dye your hair blue. I was like, excuse me, say what? Because I work in corporate. Oh, I'm gonna walk in the office with blue hair. And I did. I dyed my hair blue. Uh, and it didn't last any time because my hair grew out so fast. But I did dye my hair blue, and I walked in. It was so interesting. I was supposed to record the album, and I was looking for studios in the area. And I was like, I was used to going to Atlanta to record, and so I
Mm.
was like, I'm not going to Atlanta this time. I'm going to do it where I am. And so I found a studio, and the studio was called the Blue Room. Oh, okay, all right, got it. And so, I walk into studio, and all I had was titles because that's all I was given. He wouldn't give me. I didn't write a single thing. I was given titles, and I took the titles into the studio, and it was a 2 day session. And it was 28 poems, and I had two poets that collaborated with me. They shared a piece from their projects. And the engineer, he looks at me. He says, "Where's your notebook?" I was like, "I don't have one." And he's like, you're recording a poetry album. I know. And so we get through the whole session, 2 days. And when it's over, he stands there and he looks at me. He says, I've never been a part of something like this in my life. And I just want to say thank you for choosing us to be a part of it. He was like, because it has changed my entire perspective and my creative approach. And he was like, I think I was boxed in somewhere, but I feel like I've been unboxed. So that made me feel happy because that I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that. And so yeah, so I did that, and the vinyl kind of came out of, I was used to, get the CDs printed, have your digital files. But the vinyl, I found a company that did my CDs, and they were like, we do print on demand vinyls. And I'm a vinyl collector. And so I was like, oh, you're gonna put me on a record?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I am coming for that vinyl, by the way. I just got I just got my vinyl player today, and
Ooh,
it's the first time I've had a vinyl player since my 20s, and I've been looking into one. It's really funny for the past months, and then you come in, and I'm like, see, it's a sign I have to get my vinyl player right now.
oh,
So I'm coming for that vinyl because I can't wait.
okay.
Poetry on vinyl? What? That is
Yeah, I was
amazing.
able to do a video, an actual visual. So there was so many different things that I'd done with this project that I hadn't done with others. I did a visual
Wow.
video for one of the tracks on the album called My Hair.
Mm.
So at the very beginning, the videographer, she was like, start the video by putting the record on. So you could kind of hear the
Ooh,
crackling, and I was like, "Ooh, this is
that's
so
nice. That is nice. I love
yeah,
that. And that's the best sound. It's the best sound of the vinyl. I think that's why most people go and get vinyl to have that little crickly, crackly sound. It's like brings everything so much another level of texture. Wow, Stacey, you are amazing, and it's so evident the impact you have in people's lives and the way you just unlock things for people and just bring this aliveness or a reminder of people's innate aliveness. So I am so honored to have had you on the show. Is there anything you want to say before we close up?
um, just thank you for having me. I was
Oh,
looking forward to this. It's been a very challenging week for me. Unexpected challenges, right? Like totally unexpected. I didn't expect it. I was just like, oh, life wants to hit me now. And so, and so there've been some tears, right? There's been some tears, there's been some pain. But I love that there's always something to look forward to. And it's okay in the midst of what you're going through to say, I'm just not okay, and I hope I'm okay by the time it's time for me to embark upon the thing that I've had this expectation for. But right now I'm not okay. And so but when I woke up this morning, I was feeling a little but as the day went on, it was like God was like, look, you're getting ready to do something wonderful. I love that you invited me to be a part of this. I I absolutely love it. I don't take it for granted. I I just it's just exciting to share a piece of your journey with someone who actually cares about it. You're not just trying to get some content to put out there and say, okay, I put out content for the week. I could care less what she's talking about, you know? And so I just appreciate you for allowing me to be a part. I would love for your audience to connect with me. If they have any questions for me, I really am open to it. I'm open to feedback. I am tough skinned. I have a ton of brothers and sisters. It is 14 of us. So I promise you, I am tough skinned. I will not cry. I might cry. I am sensitive. But I but I listen. I'm receptive. So thank you, Crystal, for having me. I appreciate
Um, Stacey, thank you so much. You are so precious, and the honor is mine. You are just really just it's so amazing to have you here. And I know you said you're tough and you can take things, but if anyone's commenting here, you're gonna do it with love and kindness and respect. Or not at all. Thank you. So Stacey, thank you so much for coming on the show. You just move me and you just touch my heart, and I'm just so grateful. And thank you, everybody. Definitely reach out to Stacey and do so with love. And check out her website. You're definitely going to want to get that book, Dear Black Man, You Matter, and check out her vinyl. Oh my gosh. And if you don't have a record player, it's the perfect time to get one. I mean, hello. Though she also has other ways you can get the music as well. So, but vinyl is epic, you know. So, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. We rise together.